weather. It governs our world, bringing life, death, and destruction.
God damn it, go back.
We're fine.
Oh my God! People are drowning!
Wow. World's deadliest weather is back. Bigger and badder. This time we include deadly natural disasters.
One of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Featuring earth-shattering quakes.
Yo ahí vi pasar toda mi vida. Pero yo pensé que ya no la iba a lograr.
I saw an entire building collapse.
It was like something out of a movie.
And volcanoes.
It looks like all of my wildest dreams.
Using people's extraordinary self-shot footage.
We're gonna die, dude! We gotta get out of here! Mason, get away from the windows now!
And their death-defying stories.
I remember instantly thinking, I just watched her die.
I had to turn on my inner stunt driver and just get out of there quick.
I thought I was gonna burn alive.
We go eyeball to eyeball with Mother Nature.
It's crazy! It's crazy! Come on!
And witness up close
Get on there!
the all-consuming power of the elements.
The mountain was coming to get us.
Flash right there! This place is just hell.
It was just horrific.
I had never in my life experienced anything like that.
Everybody take cover! Now!
Coming up in this episode, a catastrophic earthquake wreaked total devastation in Ecuador.
Yo sí pensé en ese momento, aquí nos quedamos, se cayó el edificio, pero también yo empecé a pedirle a Dios, no, por favor, no.
In North Devon, a daring sea rescue goes right to the wire.
My biggest concern for them was that it wasn't going to end positively.
And Pacific Islands are blasted by a merciless tropical cyclone.
The water start coming in our house. That's when we start evacuating. We had to save our lives.
Ecuador, the small South American country, lies on a seismically volatile fault line, responsible for pushing up the Andes mountain range and triggering the world's strongest earthquake, measuring at 9.5 magnitude. On April the 16th, 2016, in Puerto Viejo, Nilo Montes de Oca, his wife Andrea, and their 2 kids were settling in for the night, unawares life was about to be turned upside down.
Ese día no había habido, nadie pudo prever lo que iba a pasar. Fue un día normal, tranquilo. Nos cogió desprevenidos, totalmente desprevenidos.
En lo que yo ya me disponía para vestirme, comienzo a sentir que comienza a moverme la cama, porque justamente yo me encontraba acostado. Cuando le digo a Andrea, temblor. Cuando en sí comenzó a moverse un poco más fuerte.
Milo, coge a la niña.
Ella tenía el niño más pequeño, yo cogía a la más grande, nos paramos en la puerta.
No importa nada.
Pero tanto era el movimiento que no nos podíamos mantener en pie que...
El terremoto, el movimiento nos tumbó al piso, estábamos en el piso abrazados, nosotros dos en un pasillo, con los niños en medio tratando de cubrirlos.
En el nombre de Jesús. Nilo, grita conmigo. En el nombre de Jesús. Grita conmigo, en el nombre de Jesús. Ya, coge la niña. Nilo, no puedes perder, por
moviéndose era algo indescriptible, algo terrorífico, porque parecía que se nos venían encima.
¡Pero apúrate, coge! ¡No te pongas eso! ¡En nombre de Jesús!
Los niños chiquitos, uno lo que quiere es verlos crecer.
¡En el nombre de Jesús, niña, por favor! ¡Vamos, vamos!
Yo sí pensé en ese momento, aquí nos quedamos, se cayó el edificio, pero también yo empecé a pedirle a Dios, no, por favor, no, todavía no, no nos lleven.
A powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake had struck 50 miles away, just off Ecuador's Pacific coast. Much closer to the epicenter, in the coastal town Kanoa, Japanese cyber cafe owner Jun Ozawa was with his infant son.
Este día ya estaba trabajando y sentí un poco de movimiento. Está haciendo fuerte. La gente se asustó, mis clientes estaban asustados, sentí como vieron, se corrieron. De ahí yo fui a coger a mi hijo, ahí está sintiendo alguna fuerza muy fuerte, como muy profundo de la tierra. Muy bajo. Un solo sacudón. ¡Pum! Ahí me caí con mi hijo afuera. Yo no sé qué está pasando. Sigue moviendo fuerte. Como bomba. Era bomba. Yo soy de Japón, hay muchos terremotos así, pero nunca pensé que tan violenta y fuerte de terremoto, nunca.
By the skin of his teeth, Jun had made it out to the relative safety of the streets. In Puerto Viejo, the Montes de Oca family was stuck 3 stories up in their violently shaking apartment block, liable to collapse at any moment.
Una vez que se detuvo el terremoto, que duró 58 segundos, nosotros recién ahí pudimos ponernos en pie, cogimos a nuestros niños y procedimos a evacuar el edificio.
Tranquila.
El polvo no dejaba ver casi nada. Por eso yo tuve que hacer video con flash, porque no se veía nada, era oscurito, todo oscurito. Arriba, abajo, en todos lados.
Aquí estamos.
Terminando de bajar la escalera en el primer piso, ahí había una plancha de cemento, o sea, una pared se había caído sobre la escalera. Entonces yo no me di cuenta y me caí.
Baja, linda, baja.
Me caí con el niño. Bueno, el niño en realidad nunca lo solté.
¡Cuidado!
Y ahí me levanté, me raspé la pierna y seguí bajando. A medida que empezábamos a bajar se escuchaban gritos. Gritos desesperados de la gente abajo.
Venga.
Mientras bajábamos más fuerte se escuchaba que la gente gritaba. Porque se había caído el edificio en la esquina, se habían caído no sé cuántos edificios, abajo no había nada, en ese momento era como que esta ciudad había desaparecido.
The earthquake was the most powerful to strike Ecuador in 70 years.
¿Dónde está el señor?
Later, with hundreds trapped under mountains of debris,
Venga, caballero, si puede.
we will see one of the most astonishingly brave rescue attempts.
Difícilmente ante la primera vista uno piensa que puede haber alguien vivo.
And we show the massive global response to a country reduced to rubble.
When something like that happened, basically I just felt the need, we got to do something.
Year on year, the weather seems to get more extreme. And in 2017, nowhere on Earth felt this as badly as the United States. It was their costliest year for natural disasters, racking up a staggering $306 billion. Most destructive were three hurricanes, Irma, Maria, and Harvey, the latter breaking a rainfall record for a single tropical storm, creating a once-in-a-thousand-year flood. Equally mind-blowing is this guy in his truck, somehow pushing through 8.5-foot deep waters.
There's no steering wheel in this cab right now.
Somehow, this guy defied Mother Nature to rescue some stranded people.
Come back this way. Come back this way, I hear.
Catastrophic wildfires ravaged the United States, with over 10 million acres going up in smoke. Worst affected was California, with record-breaking blazes in the north and south.
Super smoky, hard to breathe.
This guy is documenting the La Tuna Canyon fire.
Holy crap! We can see flames. The fire is making its way down this hill into apartments down here.
It was Los Angeles' biggest ever blaze that consumed hundreds of homes.
This is crazy.
2 devastating hailstorms bombarded the states of Minnesota and Colorado. In Denver, baseball-sized ice inflicted record destruction.
This was falling from the sky!
And judging by the damage to this parking lot, it's not hard to see why.
No! My car! Oh man, my front windshield's all cracked up and everything, man. Oh God. We're on a tornado now.
In addition, across the US, there were 3 major tornado outbreaks, record-breaking flooding, and in Pennsylvania, snowfall shattered previous benchmarks, including a whopping 34 inches on Christmas Day. It just goes to show, no matter how strong and powerful man feels, he's no match for Mother Nature. Hartland Point in North Devon, England, a remote and rugged stretch of coastline that is both breathtakingly beautiful and deadly. Putting lives in peril are stormy seas and massive 30-foot tidal ranges that can snare unsuspecting holidaymakers. As Paula Taylor saw for herself on the 15th of February, 2018.
I'd gone to stay in Bude with my aunt and cousin with my 3 children. We just decided on that day that we'd take a drive up the coast to Hartland Quay. I remember the weather being really bad. The day before there had been extreme weather warnings. The wind can really pick up in this part of the country. We'd been finishing up our lunch in the pub. All of a sudden, someone came in and asking to have a call put through to the Coast Guard because 2 men were stuck out on a rock. When I first saw the 2 men, I was quite shocked. Not a place to be in those conditions. The tide was coming in quite quickly. You could see swells of water coming around the rock that they were on. No clear way of getting back to the beach to safety. My biggest concern for them was that it wasn't going to end positively.
As the alert was raised, 50 miles away, the HM Coast Guard in St. Athan leapt into action. Pilot Ollie Padbury and winchman Sam Wellstead were warned they only had half an hour before the incoming sea would wash away the 2 men.
Speed was quite a critical factor. The tide was coming in very, very fast. The casualties didn't really have anywhere to go.
Weather conditions on the day were very windy. There's a lot of wind at St. Athan, and then once you get out over the water, it tends to get even windier without the land slowing the wind down. When we arrived on scene, there was a lot of white water all around the casualties, and the waves were hitting the shoreline so hard that they were breaking up over the top of the cliffs there.
The sea temperature was around about 8 degrees. The 2 casualties were dressed for walking, so had they been swept into the sea, the main risk to them would have been through drowning as opposed to hypothermia.
It was obvious immediately that if we didn't do something straight away, these guys were going to end up in the water.
By this time, massive waves were crashing against the rock, making the rescue treacherous.
As I was getting winched out and being carried by the helicopter towards the casualties, I could see a lot of white water around me. I could see the force of the water.
As the rescue reached its critical phase, from her cliff-top vantage point, Paula watched on with trepidation.
It was nerve-wracking to watch. You just assume that everything's going to work out okay, but then you've got that nagging in the back of your mind that, you know, what if things do go wrong? The tide was coming in quickly. You know, we were getting really worried by this point. We were absolute in awe of the skills of the pilot. It was obviously very windy conditions. Their skills to be able to just stay in one place to get that rescue done was just amazing.
As soon as I made contact with the rock, I did get hit by a wave. Quickly made sure that they didn't have any injuries. They said they didn't and they were fine, they were just cut off and cold. I thought the quickest and safest way to extract them was to send one casualty up on his own first, then I can secure myself to the other casualty, and then hopefully I can support him in the water should we have been washed off. So we just put the equipment on them, sent them to the helicopter.
I could see how hard Sam was having to work. I knew the time pressure we were up against to get the guys off the rocks, and I was doing everything I could to keep the aircraft steady so Sam could work quickly underneath us. I could see the waves coming in. I could see they were getting higher and higher as they approached Sam, and I could see the wave coming towards Sam just as we winched him and the last casualty off the rock, and I knew it was going to be one that broke over the top of the rock.
Just over half an hour after they were scrambled from their base, the HM Coast Guard had whisked the men off the rock. A few more seconds, and that final wave could have spelt doom.
It's amazing to know that, you know, you've got the emergency services at hand. We're lucky to have them. Could have been a completely different ending.
As we all know, waves come in all sizes, from a ripple to these 100-foot monsters found in Nazaré, Portugal. With seawater weighing 64 pounds per cubic foot, you really don't want to be this surfer who's come a cropper. His jet ski rescuer dashes to his aid. But the next giant takes them both out. Amazingly, despite being pummeled to an inch of their lives, they both survive. If you think surfing the treacherous mountainous seas in Nazaré is mentally deranged, then how about this fellow? Not content that tiptoeing across a wire is dangerous enough, he has an angry, boiling ocean snapping at his heels. This is called slacklining, but watching this leaves me slack-jawed with incredulity. A smaller wave, but no less impressive stunt was performed by this guy in Malibu, California. Obviously bored with one board, he hops onto another, cementing his surf dude status. But up Upstaging him on the cool stakes is Faith, the champion surfing dog. Decked out in a natty jacket, he's every inch the dashing hound. Still to come, a violent thunderstorm brings tragedy to Midwest America.
We looked over to the stage and it began to lean a bit and sway a bit, and then that collapsed.
And a huge tropical cyclone overwhelms two idyllic Pacific islands.
I was convinced my house was going to be flooded.
Earlier, we saw how in 2016, Ecuador's biggest earthquake in 70 years reduced its coastal regions to rubble.
No había nada en ese momento, era como que...
One of the worst affected places was Puerto Viejo. Most of this city was decimated, with hundreds trapped under collapsed buildings. Policeman Paul Velez was on duty as the disaster unfolded.
El terremoto fue algo terrible, fue algo sorprendente. La tierra se movía como cuando en tipo olas. Caían los postes, caían los alambrados eléctricos, los edificios caían. Era algo impresionante, como explosiones. Era como estar en una guerra, eran explosiones por todos lados. Yo me encontraba en el servicio de patrullaje a pie, me encontraba caminando por la ciudad. En el momento del terremoto nos encontrábamos bajo el Hotel Cabrera, en el portal del hotel. El edificio se viene abajo todo, como cuando haces un castillo de naipes y de pronto se derrumba.
Mercifully, as it was off-season, the hotel was empty, apart from one security guard, Angel Mera,
¿Dónde?
who happened to be one of Paul's good friends.
El edificio del hotel estaba totalmente destruido, todo era escombros, todo era ruinas. Difícilmente ante la primera vista uno piensa que puede haber alguien vivo.
¿Cómo se llama el señor? No sabe. ¡Señor! ¿Hay alguien aquí? Ya le traigo ayuda. Vamos sacándolo, pues.
Entre el espacio que había entre el suelo y la primera planta.
Ya le ayudo.
Entré al hotel por un espacio de unos 20 centímetros. Entonces ahí ingresé arrastrándome.
Sí, está bien, no está atrapado con nada. Ya. Le muevo, tranquilo. Así se puede arrastrar.
Comencé a sacar escombros, llegar al punto en donde estaba más cerca.
Venga, caballero, si puede. Ya, espérese, ya le paso algo para que se arrastre.
Ya cuando lo encontré, yo me saco el cinto policial, se lo extiendo. Y lo comienzo a jalar hacia donde estoy yo. Igual no era muy alto el espacio, pero ahí arrastrando nos salimos.
Vamos, cuidado de los vidrios. Vamos, salgamos rápido porque esto no está muy... Vamos, yo le ayudo.
Yo pensé todos los escombros del hotel, ya que todavía se movía la tierra, pero era una cuestión de segundos nada más. Tenía segundos para sacarlo, entonces...
Vamos. Haga un esfuerzo, yo sé que le duele. Ya sale, vamos. Tranquilo. Ya. Póngase en mis hombros si quiere, yo le llevo. Vamos. Sí. Arrímeseme. Eso, ya. Ahí vamos avanzando poquito a poco, paso a pasito. Ya.
Y una vez que ya estuvo cerca mío, lo puse en mi espalda.
Ya. Tranquilo, vamos, poquito a poco nomás. Ya estamos afuera. Ya. Venga. Si puede, ya. Vamos. Ya estamos afuera. Ya.
Trataba de maniobrar rápido para poder salir los dos.
Venga, pase. A ver, démela. Vamos afuera, ya lo más difícil ya está. No, estaba solo.
El ingeniero estaba arriba.
Arriba.
Bueno, es una satisfacción muy grande, más que todo porque hoy en día tú sabes de que gracias a tu ayuda una familia está completa.
Hoy otro más. El ingeniero estaba arriba en los... ¿Cómo está?
Vamos, póngale ahí.
As the dust settled on the catastrophic 2016 earthquake, Ecuador had to absorb one of its worst humanitarian disasters, claiming 668 lives and more than 6,000 injuries. As the news of unprecedented suffering spread around the globe, retired Canadian police officers Brian and Jeanette Sullivan felt compelled to act.
When something like that happened, basically just felt the need, we got to do something. We ended up raising close to, I think it was $4,700 in a matter of 4 or 5 days. With that money, we went and bought $4,700 of supplies. We handed out what we called, we just called them life bags, loaded with supplies from a can of tuna, rice, first aid, diapers for a baby, water, anything that could be used and that could sustain life until at least the national government could get their people and supplies to these communities. At least we could give them something to survive on.
But nothing could prepare the Sullivans for the overwhelming scale of destruction. Thousands of buildings were flattened and over 20,000 people displaced into makeshift shelters.
The size of it was beyond belief. It was 30 or 40 communities, if not more, all the way along the coast. Everybody was affected in some way. And we drove through certain towns that were pretty much leveled. It would look like Hiroshima. Not that I'd been there, but pictures of Hiroshima, I couldn't believe it.
Seeing the people, I mean, just seeing the hopelessness. You know, what do we do? Our life is gone. Our building, our house, our store is gone. So that was really heart-wrenching.
Everybody had left the mountains and were all set up on the highways with anything they managed to rescue from their house. There's people lying on a couch with their kids and their dog. Have a shelter, a lean-to, a piece of plastic, a garbage can, anything that they could, anything they could grab.
We stopped to hand out food to one guy, and so this is a good 10 days after, and he said, "You are the first people that have come by with anything for me. You're the first people that I've seen." And he was not in remote area, he was just a little bit on the outskirts of town.
As well as heartbreaking human suffering, hordes of domesticated animals were roaming wild on the brink of starvation.
All these people have animals. What happens to the animals? And when the government set up camps, well, the people that were allowed into those, they weren't allowed their pets. So all their pets were just locked outside the fence, roaming the streets, getting sick. I mean, that's a byproduct of this type of disaster is there's animals to feed and take care of as well.
So we did dog food drive with about 800 pounds of dog food and distributed that.
We realize how little we are in the big scheme of things. An earthquake, we had never experienced it. It opens your eyes, seriously opens your eyes to holy crap. It doesn't take much to change your life forever.
On the 13th of August 2011, Indianapolis was celebrating one of the highlights of the year, the Indiana State Fair, an agricultural and entertainment festival. Denise Miller and her husband Doug were part of a 12,000-strong crowd, looking forward to an evening of country and western music.
My husband and I received concert tickets for our anniversary, and we were excited to go. We had had bad weather that week, but the concert looked like it was going to be a nice evening. Doug and I had the very top area, which was covered by an awning, so we would be protected from any rain. And then there was an area of seating right below the stage called the mosh pit. And all of a sudden, to the west, the weather began to get quite dark, a little bit ominous too. In the Midwest, weather can change very quickly without much notice.
Rolling towards the fair was a massive thunderstorm, bringing destructive 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh, it's coming across the grounds. Wow, that's dust, huh?
It was just a sheet of wind and rain and dirt. And as it crossed the track into the grandstand area, it looked almost like a big tidal wave or tsunami. And as it got closer, the roar became louder, and you could hear the wind pick up, and you could hear flags whipping around and trees blowing, and it was all very, very loud. People started to panic, and some people started to scream. We looked over to the stage, and it began to lean a bit and sway a bit, and then it collapsed. You could hear people screaming down below. We were so high up in the stands, we could do nothing but watch.
Down in the mosh pit area, David Woods and wife Nancy had fled for their lives, the collapsed stage missing them by just 10 feet.
You okay? Oh, God!
All that I could register at the time was get out of there and get my wife out of there safely.
Calm down! Calm down! It's not moving! It's not moving! Calm down!
I started, shouting and cussing. It wasn't fear, it wasn't excitement, it was just out of shock. I just started climbing through the pipes and the tubes to find people. The first thing I came across was a little girl. It was her arm that was bleeding severely.
Hey, we need a medic really bad for this little girl! Right here! I'm a doctor. Right here! I just gave him my shirt for a tourniquet! I'm a doctor. It's breaking, come on!
The gentleman came in identifying himself as a doctor, and I kind of stepped back and let him take over. I knew he was the trained professional.
Hey, we got a doctor! Watch out! We got a doctor!
I continued on, making my way under the debris, and I came across a teenage boy, and he was face down in the dirt, and his leg was trapped under a light.
Are you okay? Just stay still. Stay still. Stay still. Stay still.
So I just started moving the sand and everything around his face,
I'm gonna need you to hold his head.
and then trying to lift the light off of him that was burning his leg.
Stay still. Stay still.
And that's when a gentleman came in that identified himself as being ex-military, kind of helped me get the light off him and get him rolled over. We actually ripped off some of the awning from the stage to transport him on, and got him onto that and carried him out to the front.
Where are we going?
The stage collapse became one of Indiana's biggest tragedies. 7 people died and 58 were injured. Governor Mitch Daniels called it a freakish accident and praised the courageous response of concertgoers rushing to help one another. And David's bravery helped the girl and teenage boy survive this horrendous catastrophe.
I've heard the word hero. I definitely don't see myself fitting that. I don't think I did anything above and beyond, and it's nothing that I wouldn't do again.
An event like that does not leave. That is something I've never experienced before. I hope I never do again, and I just felt so helpless and sad regarding the people and their families who lost their lives just due to a freak accident.
Nothing epitomizes Mother Nature in an absolute fury like thunder and lightning. Lightning is a violent electrical discharge caused by imbalances in positive and negative charges. Most occur cloud to cloud, but sometimes, like here in Queensland, Australia, it zaps down at 200,000 miles an hour to the ground. Each bolt can contain up to 1 billion volts, enough to power 56 houses for a day. Amazing energy from a split second. As we've seen, lightning likes to travel down, but on incredibly rare occasions, like this in Paraná, Brazil, it travels up. This happens when lightning bolts start from tall metallic structures, like antennas on top of buildings, and rise towards the clouds. Only 1% of lightning strikes do this, and hardly any are captured on film. When a bolt hits a tree, it delivers heat 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. It can vaporize water inside wood with such energy, it blasts it to smithereens. Neatly demonstrated by this pole in Chicago. Around 2,000 people are killed each year by lightning, but amazingly, 9 out of 10 people survive a strike. Statistically, men are over 4 times more likely to get struck than women.
Oh wow, it's pretty rocky here, hey?
But this lady is determined to buck the trend. As she stands on an exposed rocky outcrop near Sydney, Australia, in thundery conditions. It's hard to say who's more shocked, her or her boyfriend.
Good, baby, come on, man, 'cause Lord and Paul nearly hit ya. Oh my God, baby, you alright?
The 12th of February, 2018. Gita, a Category 4 tropical cyclone, was bearing down on the Pacific island of Tonga. In the capital, Nuku'alofa, French teacher Virginie Durley was fearing the worst.
We got official warnings on the Saturday night, so we knew we were expecting something really huge. I was convinced my house was going to be flooded. And the adults were just thinking, you know, when is it going to end? Rain going horizontal. That's what you experience during a cyclone. You don't know what you're hearing. So is that something breaking, like a tree? Or is it a house being wiped out? Not knowing what your families and friends, what they're going through, are they okay? We were basically spending the whole night texting everyone.
Three days earlier, Cyclone Gita had pulverized the nearby island of Samoa, bringing 125-mile-per-hour winds and over 5 inches of torrential rainfall. In the capital, Apia, 20-year-old Hope Sioli's home was being submerged by rapidly rising floodwaters.
The water start coming in our house. That's when we start evacuating. We had to save our lives.
Oh my God!
All I can see around is just flood and trees. Trees were falling, and as I was looking around, I saw the old woman who reminds me of my grandma. She was carried by her grandson.
Chao, se me sila magwala nung ay. Ay!
That's when I start calling out to my sister who was driving the car that there's an old lady who needs help. So she stopped the car, and then we try to get her at the back of the car with us, with me and my twin sister. The old lady was asking us to take her to her son's place. The road to her son is too dangerous at the time. So my sister made a decision to take her with us to my brother's place. We make sure that she was warm and safe.
The devastation to Samoa was so extensive, the government declared a state of crisis as 250 people were evacuated into emergency centers.
When we got home, everything all damaged. All our personal belongings, all the things that are important to us. Mud everywhere, around the house, outside the house, and it feels so bad. Like you feel like we don't want to stay here in this house. So we spent that whole day cleaning.
Over in Tonga, the flooding was just as bad, with over 1,000 homes damaged or destroyed. But the filthy waters not only brought misery, they brought deadly disease, as Virginie found to her cost.
My entire neighborhood got flooded. The street was 20 to 40 centimeters deep in water. Limestone mixed with water, mixed with mud, mixed with whatever you can imagine is on the street. All of that was in my house for 2 days. And stagnant water is not a good thing. We were having major dengue fever outbreak. I had the worst rashes, like my whole arms and hands were just unbearable for a week or so. I actually got in such bad level of pain and ache where I couldn't move.
Cyclone Gita was the worst storm to batter Tonga in 60 years. It was such a shocking experience, it will live in the islanders' memories for years to come.
But we are talking national disaster here, on national level. It's gonna take years to rebuild everything. You completely change your perspective on nature when you live in a place where it's right in your face. You have no choice but to have to deal with it. Really hoping I am never ever going through a Category 5 cyclone again.
When deadly weather hits, it's not just us humans who get clobbered. When our furry or feathered friends get caught unawares by Mother Nature, only the coldest of hearts wouldn't melt. Yosemite National Park is home to this yogi bear. They're known as strong swimmers.
See what you got, bear.
But this one must still have his learner plates on.
Swim, bear, swim.
Let's just hope there aren't any rapids downstream.
It's coming toward me. Oh no! I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Luckily, this story doesn't have a grisly ending, as the bear was seen scrambling to safety. In Maine, USA, this fishing boat is after lobsters. So imagine their surprise spotting this paddling creature. It turns out an eagle has landed itself in a spot of bother. Once hauled out, it's looking a bit bedraggled. But after a quick blow dry, it's liftoff. Bare feet on frozen metal can put you in extreme peril. This little finch is rooted to the spot, and a tasty morsel for any passing pussycat. but the human blowtorch rose to the rescue.
You go ahead and fly away.
And thanks to Mr. Good Samaritan, this little Tweety Pie won't come to a sticky ending. Cloven hooves and slippery ice is a recipe for disaster. Being sheep, unfortunately, when one little bleater makes a bolt for it, the rest of the flock have to follow, with hilarious results. As sheep scatter like fallen skittles, this is the epitome of a fleecy farce.
Be careful. Wait. Hey.
On a frozen Arkansas backcountry in the States, this family spots this little Bambi stranded in icy water.
Be careful. You're gonna scare her so bad.
Surely easy pickings for their pot.
That's it. Whoa, careful. Don't go too far.
Instead, they take pity.
Whoa, Bambi. Oh, slide her this way. That's it.
With the ice not fully frozen, this is trickier than first thought.
Woo! Careful.
And bossy grandma isn't helping one jot.
Try and push her.
Eventually, after a titanic struggle,
That's it.
the fawn is back on terra firma.
She is so cold. Freezing. She's a baby.
Not that she seems that grateful.
Did you see that? Yeah? She mad at you or what?
In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature give full vent to her fury. We've seen how helpless we can be.
Let's go.
We've seen her tear down, destroy, and laugh in our faces.
Ow! My car!
And next time there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.
Come make a lot of volatility.